Be kind. Written and published by Books Reader. Being right versus being kind. Striving to be right fuels the ego, while choosing kindness nourishes the soul. In our daily interactions, we often face a choice, to assert our correctness or to extend compassion. The urge to be right is deeply ingrained in our ego, the part of us that craves validation, recognition, and a sense of superiority. When we insist on proving ourselves correct, we are essentially feeding the ego's insatiable hunger for dominance and control. This tendency can manifest in various ways, from correcting trivial details in conversations to engaging in heated debates over minor issues. The ego thrives on winning, on proving others wrong, and on maintaining an image of intellectual or moral superiority. Every time we prioritize being right over being kind, we reinforce this aspect of ourselves. It's like fueling a fire that never truly satisfies, always seeking more validation, more victories, and more proof of our righteousness. However, when we choose kindness instead, something profoundly different occurs. Kindness operates on an entirely different level, it nourishes the soul. Unlike the fleeting satisfaction of being right, the warmth that comes from kindness provides lasting fulfillment. When we prioritize kindness, we tap into our deeper humanity, forging connections that transcend the superficial need to be correct. This nourishment takes many forms. We might experience a profound sense of peace when we choose to listen rather than argue. There is deep satisfaction in making someone feel heard and understood, even when we disagree with their perspective. The soul grows through acts of compassion, through moments when we set aside our need to be right and instead focus on being present and supportive. Think about the last time you chose kindness over correctness. Perhaps you let a minor inaccuracy in someone's story pass, choosing to appreciate their excitement rather than correct them. Maybe you truly listened to a colleague's viewpoint without immediately pointing out the flaws in their reasoning. These small acts create ripples of positive energy, strengthening both your own well-being and the relationships around you. The contrast between ego-driven and soul-driven actions is most evident in their after-effects. Winning an argument may bring a temporary sense of superiority, but it often leaves behind a hollow feeling or subtle regret. In contrast, choosing kindness leads to a sense of inner peace and connection. This is because kindness aligns with our true nature, our soul's desire for harmony and understanding. Practicing kindness does not mean becoming passive or avoiding important discussions. It means choosing our battles wisely and engaging in disagreements with compassion rather than hostility. It means recognizing that being right about something small often comes at a far greater cost, damaging relationships, trust, and mutual respect. Shifting from ego-driven reactions to soul-nurturing responses requires awareness and practice. Begin by observing your impulses in conversations. Notice the urge to correct, to prove, to win. Then pause and ask yourself, what would kindness look like in this moment? Could you listen more attentively? Could you acknowledge the other person's perspective? Could you let go of the need to be right? As you develop this awareness, you will start to see opportunities for kindness everywhere. Each interaction becomes a chance to feed your soul rather than your ego. You'll notice that relationships deepen, conversations become more meaningful, and your overall well-being improves. Over time, the ego's relentless need for validation weakens, replaced by the genuine fulfillment that comes from choosing kindness. Every time you prioritize kindness over correctness, you're not just affecting that one moment, you're cultivating a way of being that transforms both your inner world and your external relationships. By consistently choosing kindness, you build a foundation for genuine connection and personal growth, something no amount of winning arguments could ever provide. Lesson 1: Your need to be right creates most of your conflicts. A fundamental truth in life is that the desire to be right is one of the most destructive forces in relationships. The need to prove our correctness often stems from deep-seated insecurities and a fear of being perceived as wrong or inadequate. This pattern plays out in countless interactions, from minor workplace disagreements to major conflicts in our closest relationships. Consider how many arguments start not because of the actual issue at hand, but because of our overwhelming need to prove a point. We dig in our heels, raise our voices, and sometimes say things we later regret, all in an effort to be right. This behavior fuels a cycle of conflict that can strain or even destroy meaningful relationships. The cost of always needing to be right extends beyond the immediate argument. It erodes trust, breeds resentment, and creates emotional distance between people who might otherwise have strong connections. Each time we choose to assert our correctness at the expense of understanding, we build another wall between ourselves and others. What's particularly ironic is that this pattern often contradicts our true desires. We claim to seek peace, understanding, and strong relationships, yet our insistence on being right actively works against these goals. We become so focused on winning the argument that we lose sight of what truly matters. This need for validation doesn't always show up in obvious ways. It can be as subtle as constantly correcting others' minor mistakes, refusing to consider different viewpoints, or holding on to grievances long after they have lost relevance. Each instance represents a missed opportunity, a chance to build connection, deepen understanding, and foster mutual respect. Choosing kindness over being right isn't about surrendering your beliefs, it's about valuing connection over conflict. When we recognize that most conflicts stem from the ego's need to assert dominance, we can begin to break the cycle. The next time you feel the urge to correct someone, pause and ask yourself, small blue diamond, is this correction truly necessary? Small blue diamond, am I prioritizing connection or control? Small blue diamond, will being right in this moment bring me peace or just temporary satisfaction? By shifting your focus from winning to understanding, you open the door to deeper, more meaningful relationships. You replace conflict with harmony, resentment with trust, and ego-driven reactions with soul-nurturing choices. Ultimately, kindness is the path to true fulfillment. It strengthens relationships, fosters inner peace, and creates a ripple effect of positivity in the world around you. So the next time you stand at the crossroads of being right or being kind, choose kindness, not just for others, but for yourself. The psychological toll of always needing to be right, the mental and emotional strain of constantly defending our stance is immense. Living in a state of perpetual defensiveness, always prepared to argue, is exhausting. It keeps us trapped in a fight-or-flight mode, heightening stress levels and preventing us from fully engaging in meaningful relationships. This mindset makes us hypervigilant, always bracing to defend our viewpoint, even when no one is actually challenging it. Breaking free from this cycle requires honest self-reflection. We must ask ourselves, what are we truly protecting when we insist on being right? Often, beneath this compulsion lies a fear of vulnerability, a need for control, or a desire to maintain a particular self-image. Recognizing these underlying motivations is the first step toward change. The way forward involves developing healthier responses to potential conflicts. Instead of immediately jumping in to defend our position, we can pause and ask ourselves, is being right in this moment worth the potential harm to my relationships? Practicing curiosity about others' perspectives helps us understand that differing viewpoints can coexist without one being entirely right or wrong. Simply saying, I might be wrong, or I hadn't considered it that way, can open doors to deeper connection and understanding. These statements aren't signs of weakness, they reflect emotional intelligence and strength. They show that we prioritize relationships over the need to be right. Perhaps most importantly, we must recognize that most conflicts don't require a winner and a loser. Many disagreements arise from differences in perspective, experience, and interpretation rather than absolute truths. By shifting our focus from winning to understanding, we transform conflicts into opportunities for growth and connection. The next time you feel the urge to prove your point, pause and ask yourself, what matters more, being right or preserving peace and connection? The answer to this question could mean the difference between fueling another conflict or strengthening a relationship. Lesson 2. Kindness remembers that everyone fights hidden battles. Every person you meet carries unseen struggles, battles that are not immediately visible to the casual observer. These hidden burdens shape their reactions, influence their behavior, and affect their perspective on life. When we fully grasp this truth, it transforms how we interact with others, fostering greater empathy and patience. Consider the driver who abruptly cuts you off in traffic. Your initial reaction may be frustration, but what if you knew they were rushing to the hospital to see a loved one? The distant and uncooperative colleague might be silently battling depression or family troubles. The seemingly irritable shopkeeper could be overwhelmed by financial worries. These unseen battles don't justify rude behavior, but recognizing their existence allows us to respond with compassion rather than judgment. Developing emotional intelligence begins with understanding that everyone's life is complex and filled with challenges. Just as we hope for understanding when we are struggling, offering that same grace to others creates a kinder, more compassionate world. We don't need to know the details of someone's struggles to practice empathy. We only need to remember that struggles exist. True empathy requires stepping outside our own perspective to consider someone else's experience. When we encounter strong reactions or behaviors we don't immediately understand, pausing to acknowledge the possibility of hidden battles can transform how we respond. Instead of meeting anger with anger or frustration with frustration, we can choose kindness and understanding. This doesn't mean tolerating mistreatment, it simply means recognizing that people's actions often stem from pain, fear, or personal struggles, rather than intentional malice. With this awareness, we can uphold healthy boundaries while still approaching others with compassion. The impact of responding with kindness extends far beyond a single interaction. Offering a moment of understanding to someone in distress can provide them with the relief they need to navigate their challenges with renewed strength. Acts of compassion also create a ripple effect, inspiring others to pay kindness forward. Developing this mindset takes practice. Reflect on the hidden battles you've faced or are currently facing. Consider how those struggles influenced your behavior and how meaningful it was when someone showed you patience and understanding. Use those experiences to cultivate deeper empathy for others. In today's digital world, where communication is often stripped of context, remembering hidden battles is even more critical. The person behind an angry comment or a curt email might be dealing with challenges we can't see or comprehend. Responding with kindness, even when it's not our first instinct, can interrupt cycles of negativity and create space for healing. Supporting others through their hidden struggles doesn't always require grand gestures. Sometimes, it's as simple as offering a warm smile, speaking with a gentler tone, or choosing not to take someone's attitude personally. These small acts acknowledge the shared human experience of struggle while offering hope. Moreover, recognizing that others fight hidden battles helps us develop greater self-compassion. As we become more understanding of others' struggles, we also become more forgiving of our own imperfections. This creates a positive cycle. The more we extend kindness to others, the more we cultivate kindness toward ourselves. When we accept that everyone carries hidden burdens, we naturally become more patient, understanding, and kind. This shift transforms everyday interactions from potential conflicts into opportunities for connection and healing. In choosing empathy, we not only help others navigate their struggles but also contribute to building a more compassionate world. Lesson 3. Proving points builds walls, understanding builds bridges. In relationships, insisting on proving our point often creates barriers instead of connections. While winning an argument may provide a temporary sense of satisfaction, it frequently alienates the very people we care about. Understanding, on the other hand, creates bridges, strengthening relationships and fostering genuine connection. By focusing on understanding rather than proving, we replace conflict with connection. We shift from a mindset of opposition to one of collaboration. Instead of viewing disagreements as battles to be won, we can see them as opportunities to learn, grow, and strengthen our relationships. The next time you find yourself in a disagreement, ask yourself, small blue diamond, am I trying to build a bridge or a wall? Small blue diamond, do I want to be right, or do I want to be understood? Small blue diamond, is proving my point more important than preserving this relationship? By prioritizing understanding over victory, we cultivate deeper relationships built on respect, trust, and mutual empathy. Instead of driving people away with the need to be right, we create meaningful connections that stand the test of time. Building bridges, not walls, the power of understanding. In our daily interactions, we often get caught in the habit of proving our points, defending our positions, and showcasing our knowledge. While this may seem like a natural way to communicate, it often results in the formation of invisible yet powerful barriers between people. These walls, built with each argument won and every point proven, eventually hinder true connection and understanding. When our primary focus is on proving ourselves right, we unintentionally send the message that our perspective is the only one that matters. This, in turn, creates resistance, making others feel dismissed or undervalued. As a result, they become defensive, and what could have been a constructive conversation turns into a verbal standoff, where both sides retreat behind their fortified beliefs. Understanding, on the other hand, acts as the blueprint for building bridges. When we approach discussions with curiosity and openness to different perspectives, we lay the groundwork for genuine connection. This doesn't mean abandoning our own views or blindly agreeing with others. Rather, it's about creating space where diverse viewpoints can exist and be explored together. True understanding begins with active listening, not merely hearing words, but absorbing their meaning and the emotions behind them. Instead of immediately formulating counterarguments, we can take a moment to reflect on what the other person is expressing. Asking thoughtful questions and acknowledging their emotions can transform potential conflicts into meaningful dialogues. Building bridges through understanding requires both vulnerability and courage. It means accepting that we don't have all the answers and that our viewpoint might be limited. This kind of humility is not a weakness but a strength, one that invites others to meet us halfway. When we show a willingness to learn and grow, we create an environment where others feel safe to do the same. Effective communication isn't about winning debates, it's about finding common ground. This may involve recognizing the validity of certain aspects of another person's argument, even if we don't fully agree with their conclusions. It could mean sharing personal experiences to provide context for our perspective rather than relying solely on logic and facts. These small yet powerful gestures serve as stepping stones across differences, allowing both sides to move closer to mutual understanding. Another key aspect of building bridges is recognizing the emotional factors that often drive people's beliefs. Many individuals hold on to their positions not just because of logical reasoning, but due to personal experiences or deep emotional investments. By acknowledging these underlying emotions, we can address the core of disagreements rather than just their surface-level manifestations. In professional environments, communication rooted in understanding fosters collaboration, innovation, and stronger team dynamics. When individuals feel truly heard and valued, they are more likely to contribute ideas and work toward common goals. The same principle applies to personal relationships, where understanding strengthens trust, deepens intimacy, and nurtures lasting connections. Every conversation presents a choice: will we build a wall or a bridge? Do we enter discussions with the intent to prove ourselves right, or do we approach them with curiosity and a willingness to understand? The energy we bring to these interactions determines whether we end up more connected or more isolated. Understanding doesn't always mean agreement, and that's perfectly fine. The goal isn't to convince everyone to see the world as we do, but rather to create an environment where perspectives can be shared, examined, and respected. When we prioritize understanding, we pave the way for deeper dialogue, mutual respect, and meaningful human connection. These bridges, in turn, become the foundation for stronger relationships, more effective problem solving, and a more harmonious way of coexisting despite our differences. Lesson 4. Real strength lies in choosing peace over victory. True strength isn't found in overpowering conversations or winning every argument, it's in the ability to prioritize peace over victory. This distinction separates those who merely display power from those who embody genuine strength and wisdom. Choosing peace requires a level of emotional maturity and self-awareness that goes beyond the fleeting satisfaction of proving oneself right. Too often, we mistake aggression for strength and stubbornness for conviction. However, real strength is reflected in our ability to stay calm when provoked, to listen when we're tempted to interrupt, and to seek understanding when judging would be easier. It means recognizing that maintaining harmony in our relationships is often more valuable than rigidly holding on to our stance. Choosing peace over victory takes courage, perhaps even greater courage than standing our ground. It requires vulnerability, a willingness to admit that we don't have all the answers, and the humility to view situations from multiple perspectives. This kind of emotional resilience doesn't come naturally to most people, it is developed through conscious effort and a genuine desire to grow beyond defensive reactions. Prioritizing peace doesn't mean surrendering our principles or becoming passive in the face of conflict. Rather, it means approaching disagreements with grace and wisdom, understanding that the health of our relationships often matters more than proving a point. It's about knowing when an argument isn't worth the strain it places on our connections and overall well-being. A crucial aspect of this practice is learning to manage our emotional responses. Strong emotions can cloud our judgment, leading us toward reactionary and confrontational behaviors. By developing emotional awareness, we gain the ability to respond rather than react. This might involve taking a deep breath before speaking, stepping away momentarily to gain perspective, or even choosing silence when words could escalate the situation. The path to peaceful resolution begins with honest self-reflection. We must ask ourselves, small blue diamond, am I engaging in this argument to protect my ego, or to seek clarity? Small blue diamond, is my goal to truly understand the other person, or simply to win? Small blue diamond, would letting go of this conflict bring more peace to my life? True strength lies not in dominating but in choosing peace with intention. When we let go of the need to be right all the time, we open the door to stronger connections, greater self-awareness, and a deeper sense of personal peace. By shifting our focus from proving points to fostering understanding, we create space for meaningful conversations, mutual respect, and lasting harmony, both in our personal lives and the world around us. In the end, the greatest victories are not in arguments won, but in relationships preserved and strengthened. Choosing peace over victory, the power of intentional communication. Before engaging in a debate, it's worth asking ourselves, are we arguing out of habit or necessity? When we answer this question honestly, we often realize that many conflicts stem from insecurity rather than principle. This awareness empowers us to make more conscious choices about how we engage with others. Prioritizing peace does not mean avoiding difficult conversations or necessary confrontations. Rather, it means approaching them with intentionality and compassion. It involves choosing words that heal rather than harm, listening to understand rather than to respond, and remaining open to possibilities beyond winning or losing. This approach requires patience, practice, and a willingness to step outside our comfort zones as we develop healthier ways of interacting with others. The strength to choose peace reveals itself in small, everyday moments, when we respond to criticism with curiosity instead of defensiveness, when we acknowledge another's perspective even if we disagree, and when we let go of the need to have the last word. Though these choices may seem insignificant, they accumulate over time, shaping patterns of interaction that foster connection rather than division. By choosing peace over victory, we create a ripple effect that extends beyond our immediate relationships. We demonstrate that strength can be gentle and that wisdom is often found in restraint rather than force. As we experience the benefits of prioritizing peace, this choice becomes more natural, transforming the way we navigate conflict. True strength is not about overpowering others, it is about maintaining composure, choosing understanding, and valuing harmony over the impulse to win. This kind of strength builds bridges where walls once stood, creating opportunities for genuine connection in spaces where conflict once prevailed. Unlike dominance, which seeks to elevate itself at the expense of others, true strength lifts everyone through its expression of wisdom and grace. Lesson 5. Your kindness matters more than winning arguments. In daily interactions, we are often faced with a choice: should we be kind, or should we be right? The desire to win arguments can be strong, but the impact of kindness extends far beyond any fleeting victory. When we prioritize kindness over winning, we create lasting, positive changes in our relationships and communities. Consider the times when you've won an argument but lost a connection in the process. That momentary triumph often comes at the cost of someone else's dignity, trust, or willingness to engage with you in the future. Kindness, on the other hand, builds bridges that grow stronger over time. It creates safe spaces where honest dialogue can flourish, allowing real understanding to take root. The value of kindness extends far beyond the immediate moment. While winning an argument may bring temporary satisfaction, acts of kindness create lasting ripples that continue to shape relationships long after the conversation ends. People may forget the words spoken in an argument, but they rarely forget how they felt because of someone's kindness. This principle applies in both personal and professional settings. In the workplace, leaders who prioritize kindness over being right foster environments where innovation thrives and team members feel valued. At home, relationships flourish when kindness guides our responses, even in moments of disagreement. A single kind word in place of a harsh one can turn potential conflicts into opportunities for connection. One effective way to embrace this approach is to pause before responding in challenging situations. Ask yourself, small blue diamond, am I speaking to prove my point, or to strengthen the relationship? Small blue diamond, will my response build understanding, or create further division? This moment of reflection helps shift the focus from winning to understanding, from being right to being kind. Prioritizing kindness does not mean becoming passive or abandoning personal values. Rather, it means expressing our views in ways that honor both our own truth and the dignity of others. It's about recognizing that relationships are more valuable than proving a point. When we approach disagreements with kindness, solutions often arise naturally through mutual respect and understanding. Every interaction leaves a lasting impact. Each time we choose kindness over winning, we contribute to a more compassionate world. Our example influences others, demonstrating a healthier way to navigate disagreements and difficult situations. The effects of kindness reach beyond our immediate circle, shaping interactions in ways we may never fully see. Additionally, prioritizing kindness benefits our own well-being. When we release the need to constantly defend our positions, we free ourselves from the stress of unnecessary conflict. This shift creates space for deeper connections and a greater appreciation for diverse perspectives. Cultivating kindness requires patience and deliberate effort. It means resisting the urge to always have the final word, listening with empathy instead of judgment, and responding with grace rather than hostility. While these choices may feel challenging at first, they become easier with practice, and their rewards grow over time. Every conversation is an opportunity to either strengthen or strain a relationship. By prioritizing kindness over winning arguments, we invest in the long-term health of our connections and contribute to a more harmonious society. Your kindness matters, not just in the present moment, but in all the moments that follow. It creates a legacy of understanding and connection that far outweighs any temporary victory in an argument. In a world that often values being right over being kind, choosing kindness is a powerful way to be part of the solution rather than contributing to cycles of conflict. Lesson 6. Every interaction leaves either wounds or warmth. Each day, we engage in countless interactions, some fleeting, others deeply meaningful. While these moments may seem insignificant, they hold the power to shape both our own experiences and those of the people around us. Like ripples in a pond, our words and actions extend far beyond the initial exchange, leaving behind either emotional wounds or the warmth of connection. A single moment of frustration, an impatient remark at a store, a dismissive comment to a colleague, or a sharp response to a loved one, can linger in someone's mind for days, weeks, or even years. Harsh words and thoughtless actions can diminish confidence, erode trust, and reinforce insecurities. Every wound we inflict, whether intentional or not, becomes part of someone's emotional narrative and influences how they interact with others in the future. On the other hand, when we choose kindness and understanding, we create moments of warmth that can brighten someone's entire day. A genuine smile, a patient response, or a moment of empathy can offer comfort in ways we may never fully realize. These simple yet powerful gestures build trust, foster understanding, and create spaces where people feel seen, valued, and safe. They remind others of their inherent worth, encouraging them to extend the same warmth to those they encounter. Over time, the impact of our interactions accumulates. Patterns of wounding behavior can slowly break down relationships, creating barriers that grow harder to dismantle. Conversely, consistent warmth strengthens trust and respect, forming a foundation that can withstand life's challenges. Recognizing this truth helps us understand that every interaction is an opportunity, to heal or to harm, to strengthen or to weaken, to connect or to divide. With this awareness comes responsibility. By becoming more mindful of our words and actions, we recognize that we are not simply engaging in isolated exchanges, we are actively shaping the emotional environment of our relationships and communities. When we feel the urge to respond harshly, we can pause, reflect, and choose a different response. When we feel triggered or defensive, we can take a breath and consider the long-term impact of our words. This awareness also allows us to heal past wounds. By approaching difficult conversations with empathy and understanding, we can begin to mend relationships damaged by previous negative exchanges. Perfection is not the goal, rather, it is the ongoing commitment to being mindful of our impact and taking responsibility for the energy we bring into each interaction. Ultimately, the choice between wounding or warming often comes down to awareness and intention. Before speaking, we can ask ourselves, small blue diamond, will these words build bridges or create barriers? Small blue diamond, am I reacting impulsively or responding thoughtfully? Small blue diamond, what kind of impact do I want to leave on this person's day? These brief moments of reflection can transform potential conflicts into opportunities for connection and understanding. Our legacy is built one interaction at a time. Years from now, people may not remember the specific words we spoke, but they will remember how we made them feel. By consciously choosing warmth over wounding, we contribute to a more compassionate world. Every kind exchange we initiate adds a thread to the fabric of our relationships, weaving a tapestry of trust, support, and respect. As we navigate our daily lives, let us remember that each interaction presents a choice. We can add to the world's pain, or we can help to heal it. By choosing warmth, we not only uplift others but also cultivate a more peaceful and fulfilling life for ourselves. This power lies within us, in every word we speak and every action we take. Lesson 7. Wisdom lies in knowing when to let go. True wisdom is not about engaging in every debate or proving every point, it's about discerning which battles are worth fighting and which are better left alone. This wisdom extends beyond our interactions with others, it also applies to our relationship with ourselves. Often, we cling to rigid expectations about how life should unfold, causing unnecessary frustration when reality doesn't align with our ideals. Learning to let go of these fixed beliefs allows us to embrace new possibilities and reduces the internal struggle that comes with trying to control every outcome. Letting go doesn't mean becoming indifferent or abandoning our values, rather, it's about adopting a more flexible approach, understanding that truth is multidimensional and that no single perspective, no matter how well reasoned, holds absolute certainty. Wisdom helps us distinguish between standing firm on essential principles and unnecessarily defending every opinion we hold. In practice, this means listening more than speaking, asking questions instead of making declarations, and being willing to say, "I don't know," or "I may be wrong." It's about engaging in discussions with curiosity rather than a need to convince or defend. When we operate from this mindset, we foster genuine dialogue, mutual understanding, and deeper connections with others. The rewards of cultivating this wisdom are profound. Relationships become more authentic, conversations flow without the tension of needing to prove ourselves, and interactions feel lighter and more meaningful. We come to realize that letting go of the need to be right doesn't make us wrong, it makes us more approachable, more relatable, and ultimately, more influential in a truly meaningful way. Wisdom teaches us that real power isn't found in winning every argument but in choosing which ones are truly worth our energy. Sometimes, the most impactful thing we can do is simply listen, acknowledge, and let go. This approach not only leads to intellectual growth but also fosters emotional and spiritual maturity. Lesson 8. Compassion heals more than correction ever will. Throughout life, we frequently encounter situations where others make mistakes or hold beliefs we perceive as flawed. Our instinct may be to correct them, to point out their errors and show them a better way. However, this approach rarely leads to genuine change or deeper understanding. More often, it creates resistance. It is through compassion, not correction, that we make the most meaningful impact on others' lives. Compassion opens doors that correction often slams shut. When we approach others with genuine care and understanding, we create an environment where learning and growth can take place. Think about times when you've made mistakes or had misconceptions. Did harsh criticism help you change? Or did it make you defensive and reluctant to listen? Most likely, it was those who showed patience and understanding who helped you grow the most. The power of compassion lies in its ability to see beyond a person's mistakes or misunderstandings. It acknowledges the whole person, their journey, experiences, and reasons for their beliefs and actions. This deeper recognition allows for meaningful dialogue and authentic connection. In personal relationships, compassion often proves more effective than correction. When a friend makes a decision we disagree with, immediately offering correction might satisfy our own need to be right, but it does little to meet their emotional needs. Instead, listening with empathy, acknowledging their feelings, and offering support creates a space where they feel safe to explore different perspectives and possibly reach better conclusions on their own. The same principle applies in professional settings. Leaders who lead with compassion cultivate more engaged, motivated teams. When employees feel understood and supported, they are more willing to take risks, admit mistakes, and strive for improvement. A culture of growth, built on encouragement rather than fear, fosters innovation and stronger collaboration. Compassion isn't just something we extend to others, it's something we must practice toward ourselves as well. Too often, we are our own harshest critics, quick to chastise ourselves for every misstep. Yet, self-compassion is far more effective in fostering personal growth and emotional well-being. When we treat ourselves with the same kindness we offer a friend, we create space for learning, healing, and genuine development. Choosing compassion over correction doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations or ignoring mistakes. Rather, it means approaching them with empathy. It means asking questions before making assumptions, listening before offering advice, and considering the emotional impact of our words before we speak. The healing power of compassion is immeasurable. It mends strained relationships, bridges ideological divides, and creates space for meaningful connection. While correction may lead to temporary behavioral change, compassion has the ability to transform perspectives and heal deep emotional wounds. In our daily interactions, we can practice compassion by pausing before reacting to someone's mistake or differing viewpoint. We can ask ourselves, small blue diamond, what might this person be going through? Small blue diamond, what support do they truly need in this moment? This simple shift in mindset turns potential conflict into an opportunity for connection and growth. Everyone carries unseen burdens, fears, and hopes. By choosing compassion, we acknowledge their humanity and create an atmosphere where understanding can flourish. This approach not only heals existing wounds but also prevents new ones from forming, creating a ripple effect of kindness in our relationships and communities. The choice between compassion and correction presents itself countless times each day. While correction may satisfy our immediate desire to be right, compassion fulfills our deeper need for genuine human connection, understanding, and growth. Final lesson: life becomes lighter when you let go of the need to prove yourself. There is profound freedom in releasing the constant need to prove ourselves. It's like setting down a heavy backpack after a long journey. The burden lifts, making space for joy, authenticity, and deeper connections with others. Letting go of this need doesn't mean we stop striving for excellence or abandon our ambitions. Rather, it means freeing ourselves from the exhausting cycle of seeking validation through constant justification. We no longer measure our worth by how many people agree with us, how often we're right, or how much we impress others. Instead, we shift our focus to living with authenticity, pursuing what truly matters, and allowing our actions to speak for themselves. When we stop trying to prove our worth, we become more present in our relationships, more at peace with ourselves, and more open to life's unfolding journey. We realize that we don't need to defend every choice, explain every decision, or convince others of our value. Our worth is inherent, not something to be debated or justified. As we embrace this truth, life becomes lighter. We find that true confidence doesn't come from proving ourselves but from knowing that we have nothing to prove. Final lesson: life becomes lighter when you let go of the need to prove yourself. When we take a closer look at our urge to prove ourselves, we often find it stems from past experiences or deep-seated insecurities where our worth was questioned. Over time, this defensive mindset becomes habitual, turning conversations into battles rather than opportunities for connection. Recognizing this pattern allows us to gradually release these protective behaviors, replacing them with a more open and authentic way of engaging with the world. The beauty of letting go lies in the simplicity it brings to our interactions. Conversations shift from strategic maneuvers to genuine exchanges. We listen to understand rather than to prepare our next argument, and we discover that being fully present is far more rewarding than being right. This shift creates an atmosphere where others feel safe expressing themselves without fear of judgment or contradiction. Releasing the need to prove ourselves doesn't mean we become passive or abandon our values. Rather, it allows us to choose our battles wisely, understanding that our worth is not determined by winning every debate. We can still stand firm in our beliefs while remaining open to different perspectives and experiences. This mindset also helps us set and maintain healthy boundaries. When we are no longer driven by the compulsion to prove ourselves, we gain clarity on where to invest our energy. We recognize which situations truly deserve our attention and which can be let go, preserving our mental and emotional well-being. At first, letting go of this need may feel uncomfortable. The ego resists, convincing us that we must defend our positions or assert our correctness. However, with practice, we begin to notice how much easier life becomes without constantly preparing for debate. Our shoulders relax, our minds feel clearer, and our hearts remain open to new possibilities. This lighter approach also transforms the way others perceive and engage with us. When we stop treating every interaction as a contest, people naturally gravitate toward our peaceful energy. They feel more comfortable being their authentic selves, knowing they won't face unnecessary opposition or criticism. Letting go of the need to prove ourselves also fosters genuine curiosity. Instead of focusing on counterarguments, we become more open to exploring different perspectives. This openness often leads to unexpected insights and deeper understanding, outcomes that would be impossible if we were solely focused on being right. Grace becomes a natural companion when we embrace this mindset. We extend more compassion to ourselves and others, recognizing that everyone is on their own journey of growth and learning. This perspective helps us navigate disagreements with dignity, ensuring that we maintain our inner peace even in difficult situations. The effects of this transformation extend into all areas of life. Work becomes more collaborative, family relationships feel less strained, and even casual interactions carry a newfound sense of ease and authenticity. We begin to experience more joy in simple moments and a stronger sense of connection with those around us. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but with each choice to let go of being right, we create more space for lightness, love, and meaningful connections. The energy we once spent proving ourselves can now be directed toward what truly matters: deep relationships, personal passions, and positive contributions to the world. In this way, dropping the need to prove is not just a personal practice but a gift, one that benefits not only ourselves but everyone around us.